We talked about cruises last hour. Steve must be itching to get out of town.
You might be.
Continue the travel talk here for a bit.
Doing all your research live on the air.
But let's talk train. Michael, I'm going to need your help on this because we're talking trains.
Yeah.
Nobody knows more about trains than the great Mike. Mike, the train guy. How come we never say his last name?
He's like Cher. He has one
Cher
name.
Madonna?
Yeah, Michael.
He's Michael.
He's
Michael.
Michael. But you just
Okay.
called him Mike.
Well, I can. I know him that well. Co-founder of Vacations by Rail, Todd Powell, is ready to join us. Is he on the phone? Yeah? Okay. Always on Zoom. Okay. Hi, Todd. How are you?
Hi, Todd.
All right. How about you, Steve, Jane? How are you today?
Well, great. Nice to have you on. Our own Michael here is a technical genius who keeps us together electronically, make sure we have everything you need. Is like you, an expert on rail travel and trains and stuff. So if you need any help, while this interview goes on, just say, I'd like to phone a friend, and it'll be Michael.
Yeah, it'll be Michael.
So
that'll be perfect. Well, Michael could attest that this interview would be much better if we were in a dining car in the Canadian through the Canadian Rockies having breakfast.
Yeah.
Coast to coast.
You got it.
Wow.
You got it. That's the way to do it. In fact, I was just up there last week in doing a trip through the Canadian Rockies in the wintertime, and it's just spectacular.
I'll bet.
The mountains was awesome.
I'll bet. Crane Chicago named you as one of Crane Chicagoans you need to know. And Todd is co-founder, as I said, of Vacations by Rail. For people who want to look into this, website best or where you want to send them?
Yeah, vacationsbyrail.com.
Okay.
Vacationsbyrail.com.
All right. So were you, lots of little kids, and I suppose more boys, but it might be boys and girls, are really into trains, right? Mm-hmm. And for instance, Mark Sapelsa, you remember Sapelsa? Sure. Sapelsa's son, for his 10th birthday, wanted a trip on the City of New Orleans, the famous train that goes to the City of New Orleans. Yeah. And this is a cool idea, and rail travel is slower. It allows you to absorb more of what you're seeing. And I get the appeal. Is it cost friendly, Todd?
Yeah, I mean, it depends how you do it. I mean, there's all sorts of trips for all sorts of budgets. And so if you're going to go sleeping cars and high end, it can get pricey, but there are definitely ways to do it where it's an affordable trip. But the thing that people have to remember when they're doing train travel, particularly overnight trains where they have the sleeping accommodations and the dining car, is it's like a hotel on wheels at that point. So it is an overnight. It's part of your vacation experience, and people have to remember that. It's just not about the transportation. It's about the whole experience end to end.
I'm 100% fascinated by taking a rail trip as a vacation because I've had some friends just recently come from Pittsburgh. They had a stop in Chicago, and then they were on their way to Dallas, and it just seemed like a chore because of these little rooms and a tiny little bathroom. And that's like to get from point A to point B. But if you're on the train and enjoying the stops along the way, is it similar to, and we were just talking about cruises, do you stop at all these different, say, little small towns? If you were doing like a Route 66.
Do you have shore excursions?
Do you stop in Williams? Yeah, shore excursions. Do you stop in Williams, Arizona?
Yeah, I think the Williams, Arizona is a great example because if you're taking the Southwest Chief out of Chicago, it's one of our popular packages. We call it the Rails to the Rim package, and you take the train all the way down to from Chicago to Williams, Arizona. You get off the train, you stay in a hotel, then you board the Grand Canyon Railway train that'll take you to the south rim of the canyon. You spend some time there, then you get back on the train and you continue. You can come back to Chicago or you can go back to Los Angeles. Now, some of these trains that we're talking about in the United States and we're talking about in Canada, for example, is that they may only be running one time per day on the long distance trains. So you have to plan out if you're going to be making those stops.
We're not going to swing by the train station and grab one of them.
Right.
Michael, have you done these? Have you done one of these trips?
I have never done cross country or coast to coast. In fact, I have never even been on Amtrak.
Well, because that's for rookies.
Well, yes, but they've just added some tremendous cars with business class seating and bathrooms, and they actually have amenities like you could plug your laptop in and your phone.
So you could actually live like it's the 21st century.
Forever to become a part of the Amtrak experience, yes.
All right, but you guys, you and Todd, to me, one of the best night's sleep I ever got was on a train. coming from New York to Baltimore, and I slept through Baltimore, and I woke up in D.C. True story. But it's very peaceful, the rhythm of the rails. If you allow yourself to go there, Todd, it's like getting rocked as a baby, I would think.
Absolutely. So super peaceful. When I was on the Canadian, for example, I think it's such a great example of a train in North America. It's a legendary train. It does it coast to coast from basically Vancouver to Toronto. And when you go into your sleeping compartment, it's cozy. You have a window. For example, my bed was facing out the window, so you could see the scenery, and it was just spectacular. And then there's that rocking of the train that'll put you to sleep.
Michael, what do people not know that you and Todd know about the beauty of trains and train travel? And Todd, I'll ask you the same question.
I would say because it's carefree. You don't have to think. You have all of your amenities. You can actually let someone else worry about you and take care of you while you're traveling.
And it's the view, right?
Well, yeah. And
stick your head out the window.
Or there's coach cars. There are Skyview observation cars with the glass roof.
Oh.
Where you can watch the world go by.
Yeah, you agree with all that, I'm sure, Todd.
Oh, right, absolutely. I think it really checks the boxes for today's travelers. It's experiential. Rail is the experience. It's an adventure. People. What happens is when you board the train and it has that kind of first little tug as it goes out of the station, it's really this sense of adventure that's going to reveal itself over the miles of the tracks, and it's hyper local. People want local experiences. You have people coming on and off the trains. So it really is fantastic. And at Vacations by Rail, we put all those packages together to make sure that it's a great experience from beginning to end, and you have and it's well planned with people's time off the trains.
And what I love is that you're doing the work for us, because I wouldn't even know where to start. But now I'm super intrigued and I want to take a trip by train. Do you feel like traveling across the United States or traveling by train in Europe, which is better, or both totally different experiences?
They're totally different experiences because the United States, it's so massive, and so to go from Chicago to, say, San Francisco area, you're talking about 2 nights on a train. Whereas you can go in Switzerland, it could be 4 hours across the country, and some of the most spectacular scenery that you've seen on trains, such as the Glacier Express or the Golden Pass or the Berlin Express. So there's just so many ways to do it, and they're so different. And people really, they gravitate towards Europe because they're familiar with the very expansive train networks that they have there, and you can really get from city center to city center. So people think trains, they think Europe, but the United States, people, if they are looking for scenery in that long distance train experience and going to the national parks by train, or tying it in with motor coach journeys, you can really have some amazing experiences.
Yeah, there's nothing romantic about the Channel trip from London to Paris. You'll come out and look at some farmland, but it's expedient. But for what you're talking about, which is the attraction of slow travel.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And in Europe, though, you talk about that Eurostar train, and you're right. It's a long tunnel. But when you go to Europe, one of the things I think people do is they're saying, okay, well, my train's transportation, but should really think about what scenic route you want to take. If you're going to, like along the Rhine River Valley, it is just an amazing journey. You're just counting castles as you're going along the Rhine River.
And most favorite train trip you've ever taken? Go.
Oh my gosh, it's really impossible.
The next one is your most favorite train trip.
No, yeah, it's usually my last and then my next one, right? Because like I said, the one in the Canadian Rockies, I just took it from. It's a 4-night journey, but I just took it. Yeah, it was amazing, and the dome cars and the park car on the train and the dining car and the staff. It's really special, and the people you meet,
and the stuff you can encounter, because a lot of your movie crimes take place on trains.
True.
And your murders and your mysteries.
On top of the train, holding on.
Yeah, that part where you get to run on top of the train, and then you duck down just before you go into the tunnel.
How do you squeeze by the people in the skinny little aisle?
Oh yeah, people are very courteous. So when people see each other coming down through the corridors, they step to the side.
What kind of question is that from you, Miss weighs 87 pounds?
Well, I'm just thinking, I like to take up a lot of space.
Yeah.
It's a very cool topic. Vacations.
So cool.
With an S, vacationsbyrail.com. You can also call them 877-929-7245. Thank you, Todd. Go get on a train.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Todd.